It's not possible to fully understand the value of natural ecosystems that we have been blessed with. Most of the time, we don't pay much attention to nature nor to the services that ecosystems provide. However, damage caused to ecosystems is leading to the extinction of animals that depend on these habitats for their survival. Therefore, the destruction of sensitive ecosystems should be stopped. The thoughtless damage being caused to the environment in the face of modern development has to be reduced. We need to understand that conserving sensitive ecosystems is also the path to ensuring the very existence of the human race.
අපි මේ වන විටත් තිරසාර සංවර්ධනය අපේ රටේ තහවුරු කිරීම සඳහා
The Ecosystem Conservation and Management Project, ESCAMP, is focused on the conservation and management of Sri Lanka's sensitive ecosystems. We hope to achieve positive development objectives by selecting a few sensitive ecosystems and developing their management.
වැඩි දියුණු කිරීම තමයි මේ ව්‍යාපෘතියෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
පරිසර පද්ධති ගණනාවක් එකතු වෙලා හැදුන ප්‍රදේශයක් තමයි.
A landscape, by definition, is an area that can include many ecosystems. It can be a forest, reservoir, pond, or an ocean. Even wetlands can be included in it. Each zone can include cities, agricultural lands, and other geo-environmental features.
භූ පරිහරණ රටාවක්ම මේකට ඇතුළත් වෙනවා.
The Ecosystem Conservation and Management Project has prepared geosites in the two climatic zones in Sri Lanka. We have selected two areas, one from the wet zone and the other from the dry zone. The wet zone includes 230,000 hectares in and around Singharaja, covering Ratnapura, Galle, Matra and the Kalutara districts. The dry zone includes Anuradhapura, Trincomalee and Polonnaruwa districts, covering 530,000 hectares in Hurulu, Kaudulla and Kantale reserves.
හුරුළු කවුඩුල්ල කන්තලේ රක්ෂිත ප්‍රදේශය.
In addition, there is a large area of land which is being neglected.
මේ ආකාරයට මුළු දිවයිනෙම තියෙනවා.
In this way, there is 10 to 12% barren land in the island. We have planned to develop all the selected lands in a scientific way. This is done by all the individual and institutional stakeholders involved during the planning process. Such a combined plan is made with the participation of individual and institutional stakeholders. As a result, the management of a selected area will not be disrupted. Therefore, the conservation and management of natural resources is ensured. The Ecosystem Conservation and Management Project operates through four components: preparation of landscape management plans, correct use of natural resources in a positive way and working towards coexistence between humans and elephants, management of preserved areas and development of institutional skills, provision of technological support and management of the project. The planning methodology based on landscape requires paying attention to natural resources as well as human activities. These have to be managed through a highly integrated planning and management process. The main purpose of marking boundaries in our country is basically intended for the protection of forests and as well as for their management. The second purpose is to enable people to live without land disputes and other social conflicts. In order to solve their problems, we are now going ahead with the management of the Hurulu Tourism Park. For this, we need a road system for its geographical features, hilltops or archaeological sites. We gather information through GPS technology. After collecting data, we wish to include the maps using computers. This is an ancient forest cultivation. This is an open forest and is a thick forest. With your participation, we started the Arunodaya community-based organization last year. Through this organization, we are going to assess the damage caused to the forest during the past 20 to 30 years by people in low-income groups. A part of your livelihood is chaina cultivation. The other is cutting down trees in the forest and also killing wild animals for food. We have inquired into reported incidents for several years. The main reason for such a situation is your need to make a living. When considering project planning, one of the first tasks is to identify special environmental, cultural and economic features necessary for the proper planning and management of zones with geographical differences.
We have been meeting our day-to-day needs with great difficulty. We received sawing machines from the Forest Department. We have been awarded training, depending on our individual skill levels. Today I am able to manage my livelihood way.
The people who live in and around sensitive ecosystems have to be empowered and trained to use natural resources and adopt their livelihood in accordance with biodiversity preservation and adapting to climatic changes. The reason for the adverse impacts caused by the rural population to forests is the limited amount of resources available to them. This affects their financial standing as well. Through our project, we try to address this situation through poverty alleviation methods. The Forest Conservation Department helps them throughout the project. The human-elephant conflict has been an unsolved problem for a long time in Sri Lanka. The situation has been further complicated with the clearance of forests for development projects and setting up of communities around forests. As such, the pilot project under the third component is now in operation in select villages in the Kurunegala and Anuradhapura districts, where the human-elephant conflict is highest in Sri Lanka. As elephants come across these lands, I put up a hut with a tin roof. About 25 to 30 years ago, we faced the human-elephant conflict. Elephants came and damaged this house several times. However, today we lead a normal life due to the electric fences. We have put up electric fences through ESCAMP in 5 villages. The electric fence helps 500 to 600 families to live in safety. Because of permanent electric fences, the human-elephant conflict is no longer occurring in these areas. For the construction of the electric fence, ESCAMP provides posts, wires and an energizer unit. However, the electric fences are built by the people living in the village. They build a shed for the generator and erect the posts for the fence. Even the maintenance of electric fences will be done by the villagers. For this purpose, civil organizations have been set up. This is how the electric fence system operates sustainably. The human-elephant conflict results in loss of life, damage to property and impacts livelihoods. We have paid special attention to minimize the damage caused to livelihoods. This is done by putting up an electric fence in the border villages and allowing the community to maintain it. Their lives, property and plantations can be protected by the electric fence. In order to minimize the damage caused to paddy cultivations by elephants, we are constructing seasonal paddy field electric fences. However, they are not put up around paddy fields. It is built during the cultivation season. The fence is removed after harvesting. It is done to allow elephants to eat what is left on the paddy fields. It solves their food problem to a certain extent.
යම් තාක් දුරකට විසඳෙනවා.
As a result, we have been able to restore coexistence between humans and elephants.
වනජීවි සංරක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව
The Department of Wildlife Conservation is working alongside ESCAMP to find a solution to the human-elephant conflict. Accommodating wild elephants in wildlife protected areas and habitations is in progress. In addition, the management of pastures and waterways are given precedence. An attempt is made to compensate people whose property is damaged by elephants. We are also working on a reconciliation program to pay compensation in the village itself.
විවිධ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් ගම්මාන තුල ඉෂ්ට කර දීම
It is necessary for us to preserve and manage the environment and to protect flora and fauna.
තෙවන සංරක්ෂකයේ මගින් කළමනාකරන සැලසුම් සකස්
Under the third component, steps are being taken to prepare management plans for unprotected areas and to update management plans in protected areas that fall under the project.
රක්ෂිත ප්‍රදේශවල කළමනාකරන සැලසුම් යාවත්කාලීන කිරීම ව්‍යාපෘතිය යටතේ සිදු කරමින් පවතිනවා.
The preservation of flora and fauna and conservation of protected areas in virgin lands is an important task. Under the project, plans are underway to develop internal roads according to necessity, and modern smart patrolling technological methods are empowering wildlife officers.
වන සංරක්ෂණය සඳහා කැපවී කටයුතු
It is necessary to improve infrastructure facilities to upgrade the efficiency of field officers dedicated to the preservation of forests. ESCAMP has identified these necessities and is taking steps to do the needful. Under the third component of the Sri Lanka Forest Science Institute in Nuwara, project plans are afoot to upgrade knowledge and develop skills. At the same time, steps are being taken to improve the Inamalua Field Training Center of the Forest Department. Under the subcomponent of the third component, steps are being taken to improve the ecotourism sector to help Sri Lanka's tourism industry. Improving infrastructure facilities, preparing ecotourism plans for Singaraja, Knuckles, Hurulu, Kanneliya and Galvila protected areas coming under the Forest Department, and Yala, Udawalawe, Boondala and Lunagambara National Parks coming under the Wildlife Conservation Department are taking place. This is our main entrance. There is no big entrance here. There is only a pavilion.
පරිසර පද්ධති සංරක්ෂණ හා කළමනාකරණ
A main component of the protection and management of protected environment systems is to improve the environmental tourism activities, development of protected zones, and creation of a system for them. Accordingly, with project funding, a tourism center is being built in the Padalangala area. For all the work under this project, we call for views from stakeholders, and where necessary, we work to address them.
ඒක වැඩි දියුණු කිරීම තමයි බලාපොරොත්තු.
ස්කෑම්ප් ව්‍යාපෘතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ වනජීවී සහ වන සංරක්ෂණ අමාත්‍යාංශය යටතේ.
ESCAMP operates under the Ministry of Wildlife and Forest Conservation. The Forest Department and the Wildlife Department are the main stakeholders of this project. In this regard, we have received a loan of $35 million from the World Bank. It is under the fourth component of ESCAMP that we do all the management and operational activities. The project management identifies the requirements and directs specialists and other professionals while providing them with logistical facilities to carry out their activities.
ව්‍යාපෘති කළමනාකරණය මගින් සිදු කරනු ලබනවා.
Developed countries in the world are trying to promote nature-related lifestyles. We possess natural resources, environmental strongpoints, and environment-centric livelihoods that are not found in other countries. Therefore, it is our responsibility to preserve the natural ecosystems in Sri Lanka.